In the last 6 months, the Friends of Bradgers Hill have used trail cameras to investigate the mammals in our countryside as well as on our school grounds. You are now watching an aerial view of Bradgers Hill, a classic example of chalk downland on the northern borders of Luton.
Badgers featured in many of the videos that we captured in the countryside. Here you see one gathering dry nesting material with which to line its set.
Badgers hunt largely by scent. Their favourite food is earthworms, and they will eat nearly 200 in an evening when the ground is soft enough to dig. But in times of drought or freezing conditions, they have to look for alternatives.
They will also eat invertebrates, fruits, berries, cereals and small mammals such as mice, voles and young rabbits. As Britain's largest land-based predator, badgers will eat small mammals including hedgehogs.
Like a cat, their whiskers are very sensitive and help to locate prey. Although quite large animals, badgers are very shy and most people in Britain have never seen a live badger.
We found that our badgers tended to come out of their underground home at 8 p.m. With the lighter evenings and the clocks moving forwards, this meant that they were seen in the daylight.
The night time is spent foraging for food and checking the boundary of their territory. They use toilet areas to mark the edge of it. Here we see in mid-March the 2 young badgers venturing out on a family hunt with their parents.
The cubs are quite boisterous and spend lots of time chasing, play fighting and grooming each other. This helps build family bonds and prepares them for adult life.
Much of the time was giving over to this kind of activity in the earlier part of the evening before hunting. Occasionally, if the weather is exceptionally hot, badgers may sleep above ground in patches of grass and reeds or hollows of trees.
Badger hairs are coarse, approximately 4 centimetres long, with a long black section and a white tip. The hair is not round. We think this may help to stop soil sticking to the hairs when they are digging.
Now it is the end of April and the mother and the cub can be seen together. At 10 weeks they have plenty of fur and are less reliant on the sow, but will stay very close to the set entrance before gradually starting to follow mum around.
Back in November, we placed trail cameras in the school grounds of several schools in Luton. We found foxes in each of them. Here you see the fox in Chantry Primary School.
There is a strong metal fence around the edge of the field of Summer's Primary School, meaning that the foxes cannot get in and out this way. We think therefore that the foxes live under some of the mobile classrooms.
The Icknield video was taken early evening and has the best background. This school is closest to the countryside with large playing fields.
In 2022, student Simon Hill was the first to take a trail camera on the hill and captured this memorable shot of a fox with its rich colours.
2 years later, we began to capture these images for ourselves, mounting cameras on trees in clearings on the hill. During the daytime, we were pleased to get these colour images.
Foxes are always on the alert for a meal. Rabbits and field voles are common prey, but fox's diet can include everything from worms and beetles to baby deer and fruit.
As with badgers, they hunt largely through using their sense of smell. This fox here is successful in finding an earthworm to munch on.
A nearby resident on the hill said she had a fox den in her garden, and we managed to capture these images of the cubs as they came out in late April from their den.
Muntjac deer are not a native species to this country. Muntjac were brought from China to Wilburn Park in Bedfordshire in the early 20th century, from where they escaped. They are now widespread and increasing in number and range.
Also known as the barking deer, muntjac makes sounds for different reasons. The bark is repeated and loud for its size. Muntjac also scream when frightened.
They are active throughout the 24-hour period, but make more use of open spaces during the hours of darkness. Peak activity is at dawn and dusk, with long periods being spent lying up where the deer lies down to digest after feeding.
The males, known as bucks, have horns on their head as well as light-coloured cheek areas.
In several of the videos you can see the muntjac grazing on the vegetation on the forest floor. They have been known to cause problems for gardeners and owners of allotments when large numbers move into an area.
The trail cameras were placed along paths on the hill that are well used by the animals. They are triggered by the motion as they pass by the location.
The two males here are fighting to be in charge of more territory and more females to mate with. They headbutt, but neither appears to have been hurt too much.
The pheasant is an introduced species that has settled here with little problem. It can be spotted in its farmland and woodland habitats, although you'll probably hear the loud croaking call of a male before you see it. Here you see the female, which is plainer than the male.
Common in farmland and woodland throughout the UK, the male's loud, sharp croaking call can be heard resonating throughout the countryside before the bird is actually seen. Pheasants eat seeds, berries, leaves and insects. They roost in trees and can form flocks in winter.
Male pheasants have striking bronze plumage, a red face and wattle, a green neck with a white ring around it, and a long tail. Females are sandy brown with an intricate pattern of black spots and bars. Pheasants are larger than partridges and have longer tails.
Pheasants are native to Asia, but were introduced into much of Europe by the Romans.
The brown hare is known for its long, black-tipped ears and fast running. It can reach speeds of 45 miles an hour when evading predators.
Brown hares do not dig burrows, but shelter in forms, which are shallow depressions in the ground or grass. When disturbed, they can be seen bounding across the fields, using their powerful hind legs to propel them forwards, often in a zigzag pattern.
The brown hare is golden brown, with a pale belly and a white tail. It is larger than the rabbit, with longer legs and longer ears with distinctive black tips.
Black squirrel is the result of interbreeding between grey squirrels and the North American fox squirrel. There are thought to be about 25,000 black squirrels in the UK, with numbers largely concentrated in Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire.
This wood mouse has very large eyes, a long tail, very large ears and a pointed snout.
The rat can be seen in any habitat, including the Bradgers Hill wood. Brown rats are omnivorous, eating pretty much anything, from fruits and seeds to human food, waste, insects, birds' eggs or even smaller mammals.
Wild cats do exist, but these here are more likely to be adventurous pet cats. You can see a tracking device around the neck of one animal in these clips. They will find the hill a good hunting ground for mice and other small mammals. So I'm here at Chiltern Academy this morning in the south of Luton, just to show you the way that the trail cameras are set up on school grounds. It's got a metal fence around the outside. We're near a busy road, but I'm confident we'll be able to see a fox or another mammal on this particular location. If we go over here, we can see where the trail camera is set up, tethered to a suitable tree just below knee high. You can see here we've got the motion sensor all in one piece of equipment with the camera and the antenna that will send the 10-second video to the computer or an app on my mobile phone. So let's hope we see something coming across this camera in the next 24 hours. Okay, we've now relocated to Bradgers Hill. That's on the edge of Luton. To my left is the Bushmead housing estate. And already in just a few minutes, we've had red kites, jackdaws, skylarks fly overhead, and the wild flowers in the area on the edge of this farmed field are just coming into bloom. Behind me you can see the Bradgers Hill scarp slope, a classic solid chalk scarp slope, and over the last few decades the number of rabbits has gone down increasingly, so that the vegetation has grown to a height of around about 5 or 10 metres in places. And this is where we place the cameras in our winter project to find out what kind of mammals will be located on the hill. So let's go up the hill, let's see some evidence of those mammals there and show you where we placed the cameras. Okay, so we relocated up the slope. I'm a bit out of breath, haven't climbed it, but all around us here we can see telltale signs of badger activity. Around me you can see the paths, the tracks that the badgers themselves have made because of their nocturnal movements. It's usually about 8 o'clock we see them on the trail cameras going out for their evenings hunting and other movements. So here we see the classic badger set located in the roots of a large tree, and you can see here that the spoil heap that is being excavated by the badgers freshly every year with large lumps of chalk are cut out from the solid rock, which pays testimony to the strength of their forepaws. And it was in this spoil here that we found this skull, probably of a hare or some other small mammal, that was just thrown out, okay, with the spoil. This clear indication of what their prey are. Around me you can see a number of trees, and it's on these trees here that we place the trail cameras, and they provide us with a perfect vantage point, okay, to observe their nighttime activities. So we're deep in the woods now on Bradgers Hill, and we're discovering another interesting fact about it. This is one of Bedfordshire's newest ancient monuments. And in medieval times, the farmers cut terraces into the steep slope here, giving them around about 10-metre wide strips in order to farm as part of their agriculture. Those terraces and also those slopes have remained until this day. And as you can see here, I'm on the edge of one of the slopes in the transition between the flat farmed area and the slope down to the next. This presents a few problems, because if you actually want to get to the really kind of inner wooded parts of the hill, you've got to scamper down the slope here to the clearing that we saw in our first shot, and that's where most of the mammals are. So if you just follow me, I'll just see how far I get, enabling me to retrieve the cameras that I set a few weeks ago. So, having scrambled down the slope, we're now in one of the clearings on Bradgers Hill, and what caught my eye was this freshly dug badger set, and you can see the new hole here, and this has come in just the last few weeks. But what really gives its age away is the freshly dug spoil that you can see here, and this is clearly been dug in the last few weeks. Behind me you can see the small oak tree that I've attached one of the trail cameras to, and this has been really successful about capturing some of the muntjac deer that you've seen in the film. It's worth noting the great view that you can see behind me. That's the Bushmead estate, as we've seen before, and we were right down there at the start of this segment. And what I'd like to do now is just to retrieve the trail camera from here. You can see it's about knee high, securely held. And of course, because of the SIM card within there, I don't need to go back to my computer to retrieve the images. Those have been sent via the SIM card to my phone or computer by the wonders of technology.